And you could ask of me, I wanted to be fooled. Now pain has come on me.
Hey.
I was just saying hi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Give me a little piece of pop.
You on live?
Yeah, sorry. Put my nasty hands in there.
Hey, are your hands gross?
No, they're not gross.
Okay.
I mean, they're just... I wash my hands after I pee and stuff.
Okay. Well, I hope so. Yeah.
What are you getting into this weekend? How was Keeneland?
It was good. I went by myself and had fun.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm planning to go again, I think, on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When can you go?
Wednesday, maybe. Who you going with Wednesday?
I'm going with myself, but I put something out on Facebook like, who wants to go? And some people said that they want to go, but I'm not necessarily going with them, but if they want to meet me there, then...
Oh, next week. I'm going out of town next week. I'm going out of town Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Next week.
And when are you going to be back?
Thursday.
Okay. I mean, that could be a possibility because we're not going to be here.
I'll have my show to you by Tuesday at 4. I'm recording a show on Monday with I was about to say Chance the Rapper. Hybrid the Rapper, not Chance.
I was about to say, okay.
No. Chance would be that'd be pretty cool. I like Chance. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool dude. But yeah, let's try to do that definitely next weekend then.
Okay. Well, next weekend is Easter, so
yeah.
But probably on Thursday will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. Like, I'm not doing anything because we'll be closed.
Yep.
I'm kind of sad leaving the board.
Oh, yeah. And I think the board's much smaller.
Yes. I'll have to come in and play with it before I go live.
Yeah, I mean, we will have to as well, so we can train you all.
Yeah. All right. You be here after the show?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Booyah.
Gotta do some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good seeing you as always.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight?
I've got to go do hits, and then I've just really got invited to maybe go down to Thursday Night Live for Patrick's birthday. My boss at Ilium.
Okay.
I may go, I may not, because I have to work really early in the morning. Like, I got to be up at 4. I got to go to West Virginia.
Okay.
So
So you're not doing anything tonight?
Probably not.
Okay. I was going to say, I have a babysitter today, so I get to...
Dang it. Well, yeah. I know if I stay up past 10 o'clock on nights that I have to get up at 4.
Oh, I'm not staying out that late. My babysitting is ended at 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you were doing Thursday Night Live, then, you know, I might slide down there.
Okay. If I go, I'll totally let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something to do since I have this time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
See you.
See ya. Have a good show.
Thank you. Hey, Wade. What's up, my friend?
You are listening to Radio X WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio.
Very
or
nice.
its
Wish I was on the
board of
porch with
directors.
you.
The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you could stream the show live from the station website at radiolex.us to listen to us from anywhere in the entire world. I am broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is April the 10th, 2025. Folks, I have separation anxiety. I hate change. I mean, change is good, especially positive change, but really anytime there is change, I get a little nervous. And this is the last episode that we are using this board that I have been broadcasting from for the last 6 years here at Radio Lex. I will say that starting next week, I will be broadcasting episodes of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks from my home studio because we have to shut down the WLXU studios for a month. And during that month, we have to transition to our new equipment. We are getting new equipment into the studio. We are going from analog to digital, which brings a lot of positive things to the station, to this show. It's going to make us have a stronger radio signal, so people will be able to hear the show from afar, and people will also be able to hear the show more clearly. So the change is positive change, but with that change, that means we have to get new studio equipment, and we've got to shut down the studio while they get that equipment in here. But need not fret, Off the Cuff with Adam Banks is not going anywhere. We will still be broadcasting live every Thursday from 4 to 5. I will just be doing the show from my house. So people will you might hear a little change in the audio when I'm broadcasting from home, but really, not really. My home studio equipment is pretty daggone good. And I'm excited. I've never really broadcasted from home except through the COVID years, but I was using Zoom. Never really had the equipment that I have now, but that will start next week. But this is the last episode using this board that I have been using for the last 6 years. And I tell you what, it's just, I've been in a relationship with this board for 6 years, and the fact that it's going away, it makes me a little sad. So I'm going to do it justice by giving it a really good show today, the last episode using this board right here. Folks, so much has been trending going on across the United States, so I'd like to start off the show talking about some of the most trending headlines that have been trending across America. Now, a lot of people might think that I might start off by talking about the tariffs that Donald Trump has put in place, but that's not what everybody's concerned about. It's about the new possible TikTok ban. We've heard this before. TikTok is getting banned and then they wasn't. But now it's back on the table that TikTok could get banned, and the future is still uncertain about TikTok. The United States is looking for potential buyers, but Donald Trump has extended the deadline for ByteDance to sell TikTok's U.S. operations for another 75 days, and that pushes the potential shutdown till mid-June. So they're looking for a buyer for TikTok. Now, a lot of people say that Amazon is the front runner to buy TikTok. He's definitely got the money, so I could see it going in that direction. Another trending headline is Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan will be starring in a Freaky Friday sequel. It's called Freakiest Friday. It is supposed to premiere on August the 8th, 2025. That was a very successful movie when it came out in the early 2000s, and now they said that they will be having a sequel to that movie, and that will be released on August the 8th, 2025. Some more things trending in the United States. UConn routed South Carolina 82-59 last Sunday before a crowd of 19,777 people to win its NCAA record 12th national championship. So the UConn Lady Huskies are the national women's basketball champs. Now, I'm not a big fan of women's basketball. Look, I've tried it. People say you got to give it a chance. I've tried. I can't give it a chance. It's just not my forte, folks. It's not my forte. I would almost rather watch golf than women's basketball, and that's saying a lot. I've tried, and no matter how much they push it on us with the Caitlin Clark and the Brittany Griners of the world, I still can't get into women's basketball. Speaking of golf, the Masters begins today. The Masters is one of the big four tournaments that happen every year in golf, and it will be held starting today. It will be played from April the 10th to the 13th at Augusta National Golf Course in Augusta, Georgia. And folks, that is pretty much your trending headlines that are happening right here in the United States. Folks, we have a great show ahead of you today. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Stick with us. We will be right back.
Radio Lex, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Radio Lex only exists in our community because of the generosity of supporting members like Shannon Stewart Smith. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to the voice of the people. To learn how you can become a supporting member, visit radiolex.us/donate. At Radio Lex, we want to keep our community safe.
Can an employer discriminate against you because of your sexual orientation or gender identity?
Per the Lexington Human Rights Commission, a Lexington local ordinance protects individuals against employment discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity.
Radio Lex is committed to providing trustworthy information to our community.
For more information, visit radiolex.us or lexhumanrights.org. Radio Lex has the support of corner sponsor Central Bank. centralbank.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Nothing like hearing an organ of baseball music in the background. Baseball season is in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. All 30 MLB teams are in action. Basketball is now over, so now the focus is on baseball, and this is the time of year to get excited about it. It's warm, it's getting prettier out, it's getting hotter out, and that just makes you want to enjoy baseball. And whether you're sitting in the stands or tuning in from home, there's just something about the atmosphere at a baseball stadium that just hits different. It's not just the crack of the bat or the thrill of a fastball. It's the sounds that surround you, like the sounds of an organ, like this song right here, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Now, you can hear this song sang by the crowd. You can hear it played just through the speakers, but there's just something about hearing it on an organ. An organ, when an organ plays baseball music, that's real baseball music right there. From classic anthems to fun, quirky tunes, the music and chants are as much part of the game as the players themselves. So, since it is baseball season and it is in full swing, no pun intended, I would like to do a little baseball segment. Today, we're going to dive into some of the best musical sounds that you can hear at the ballpark. Now, these songs that I'm going to play, these jingles and cheers, are the soundtrack to unforgettable moments, and they make the experience of being at the game something truly special. Now, on this show before, we've talked about some of the best baseball team songs. That's not what I'm doing today. Today, I want to talk about the best musical sounds to hear in a baseball stadium. Now, I'm not talking about the crack of a bat or peanuts, get your salty peanuts. I'm not talking about those sounds. I'm talking about the best musical sounds. Like this one right here, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It's a fun song that's being played on the organ. But folks, when I play these sounds, it's going to really put you in the atmosphere. It's really going to put you like you are at a baseball game. There's just something about being at a baseball game and hearing these musical sounds come across come across the PA, come across the speaker. Now, an organ is one of those instruments. You don't hear a lot of them. Some churches have them, but baseball stadiums totally have organs at their stadiums because, hey, that's when you get the best baseball music. So let's start with this one right here. This one's called Charge. I mean, don't you feel like you're sitting at a baseball game? Don't you feel the heat beaming down on you right now when you hear that music in the background? Or what about this little tune right here? It's called Rally Time. Now, this one's all about building momentum. It's the soundtrack to a team trying to rally after a slump, trying to encourage the fans to slap, clap, and get behind the players. Now, you can hear these sounds at different sporting events, but there's nothing like hearing it at a baseball game when it's played on an organ. Another great musical sound to hear in a baseball stadium, it's not necessarily from an organ, but it's this little ditty right here, the chicken dance. Now, this is a goofy, fun, classic sound to hear. The chicken dance, it always gets fans in the mood to move and laugh. It's a moment of lightheartedness that adds an element of fun even in the midst of a serious competitive game. Fans can't resist this song. When they hear this music, they like to get up and do a little silly dance. It's just a great way to break the tension in the stadium. But we got to get back to our organ music, because organ music is the best music at a baseball stadium, like the Mexican hat dance. Man, I can just imagine right now eating a bag of nachos and cheese, popcorn, a nice ice cold pop in my hand, 85 degrees outside, and hearing this in the background. Man, it just makes me in a better mood already. This brings a festive vibe to the stadium. Here's another great one. I don't know the name of this, but you often hear it at baseball games. It's cheerful, it's upbeat. Makes you feel like you're at a celebration. Here's another great baseball sound in a stadium. Now, this sound is often associated with Jewish celebrations. This song brings an infectious sense of joy and unity. In the stadium, it's an innovation just to really celebrate. It's an invitation, rather, to celebrate and get the crowd clapping along, creating a feeling of community and shared excitement. I mean, don't this song make you just want to walk around the stadium and take a look at the ballpark? One of the best things about going to a baseball game is not really just sitting there and watching the game. Part of going to a baseball game that makes it so great is walking around the ballpark. I mean, I'm maybe in my seat, maybe a total of 3 or 4 innings, because the rest of the time I'm at a game, I'm walking around the stadium, looking at the gift shops, looking at the different concession stands. Here's another great musical baseball sound in a baseball ballpark. This is a little Japanese pop song that has a smooth vibe. This is just kind of a song that makes you feel like everything in the world is right. And it just brings nostalgia. Whenever you hear music from an organ in a baseball stadium, it just makes you feel like you're in the 50s or the 40s, old-time classic baseball. Here's a great one. This one's called "It's a Beautiful Day for a Ball Game." And this song perfectly captures the optimism and positivity that comes with being at a ball game. I mean, picture it, folks. The sun is shining. The ball players are all out swagging out. Families are there having fun, and you're a part of it. You're a part of it. All while this song is playing in the background. I mean, what other sport has music like this? I mean, yeah, the NBA has their own little musical sounds, and football has their own musical sounds, but nothing quite like baseball. Now here, this next sound coming up that you hear in a baseball stadium is very recognizable, because it's the sound of an old TV theme song. This obviously is the Addams Family theme. It's fun, quirky, and instantly recognizable. Love it. All right, next up, here is a song that you might hear, or a sound rather, that you may hear in a baseball stadium. It's called "Ta-da." or ta-da? I mean, yes. Ta-da! Here's another one. This one's called Let's Go, Let's Go, Let's Get 'Em. I know everybody sitting at home that's ever been to a baseball game recognizes these sounds. This one's called Let's Get 'Em. This one's called Three Blind Mice. This next one here is called Boom Chick. It's short but sweet. It's a track that gets the heart pounding. Now this one right here is called Na 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 Na, Hey 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 Hey, Kiss 'Em Goodbye. Now, this song is often used as a way to taunt the opposing team, especially when they're on the verge of leaving and losing. The catchy na 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 chorus is easy for fans to sing along with, making it fun and competitive. It adds some extra drama to the game. Now, this next little sound that you may hear at a baseball stadium is called Zippity-Doo-Dah. This is a playful, carefree tune that reminds fans of the joy at just being at a baseball game. And then finally, one more little musical sound that you may hear in a baseball stadium is Zorba the Greek. When this one plays, you know it's time to get the energy level up. It's fast-paced, it's lively, it encourages the fans to get moving, get on your feet, dance, cheer. It's a celebration of just life and movement. Love it so much. And folks, that pretty much wraps up the best musical sounds to hear in a baseball stadium. So if you're going to a baseball game this year, take it all in. Not just the game itself, take it all in. Take the food in, take the music in, take the energy in, take the atmosphere in. But most importantly, have a great time and take the music in. Enjoy the music. It makes baseball so much better. It's one of the things that makes baseball so great is just the sounds that you hear while you're at the game. Hope everybody enjoyed that little baseball segment in light of baseball season starting. I wish I could say the Reds are off to a better start than what I thought they would be, but it is still early. I have to calm down. I have to take a chill pill. It's still just April. We have a lot of baseball to play. You really start getting worried around June-ish, July-ish, most definitely. But really, you start to worry around the June timeline. But folks, that pretty much wraps up this segment. Stick with us. We still have lots more Off the Cuff with Adam Banks coming your way right after these words.
This is WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Radio Lex has the support of JLD Incorporated. JLDincorporatedky.com.
Tired of hearing the same songs over and over across the radio dial? Radio Lex spins over 5,000 unique songs each month in English on 93.9 FM and Spanish on 95.7 FM. Hear everything from soul to hip-hop, classical to jazz, salsa to mariachi, and Americana, and of course, good old rock and roll. Takes a great community to make great community radio. We can't do it without you. Support the voice of the people today. Visit radiolex.us/donate and support Lexington's community radio right now.
Cet hiver, protégez tous les membres de votre famille en recevant votre vaccin annuel contre le Covid et la grippe. Pour en savoir plus, consultez le site lfcht.org.
Radio Lex only exists in our community because of the generosity of supporting members like Richard Seckel. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to the voice of the people. To learn how you can become a supporting member, visit radiolex.us/donate.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Today is April the 10th, and folks, a lot has happened on this day throughout history. A very historical day, and I'm about to tell you why, because on this day in history, 1825, is when the first hotel in Hawaii opens. Now, that might not sound like a big deal to you, but Hawaii is the place full of hotels. Really, I always find it fascinating when people live in Hawaii because it's just a place that people vacation, it seems like, but a place that now has thousands of hotels. It was on this day, folks, in 1825 when the very first one opened up. Also, on this day in history, 1861, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, also known as MIT, was established by William Barton Rogers as a private land grant university in Cambridge, Massachusetts. One of the biggest, most prestigious schools in today opened up on this day in history. Also, on this day, April the 10th, 1912, the Titanic sets sail from Southampton for her maiden and final voyage. A little creepy, a little eerie to think about that. This is when the Titanic set sail on this day in history, 1912. Unfortunately, we all know the fate of the Titanic. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. You don't really hear about ships sinking, especially ships that are carrying a lot of people. And I could be wrong, but have there been a ship since the Titanic that has carried that many people ever went down since the Titanic? So many cruise ships happen, so many cruises that are always going on throughout the country, throughout the world, especially during this time of year. Very rarely do you hear about one sinking. I mean, their track record is pretty good. You hear about plane crashes all the time, but as far as ships sinking with a lot of people on them, you don't really hear it that much. I could be wrong. Please correct me on the show thread if I am. Also on this day in history, folks, 1913, the New York Highlanders plays its first ML game as the New York Yankees. They lose to the Washington Senators 2-1 at Griffith Stadium. President Woodrow Wilson threw out the first pitch for that game. It's hard to believe that one of the most prestigious, iconic baseball teams of all time, the New York Yankees, played their first game. We just did a segment on the last segment about baseball sounds, and we talked about baseball. One of the most prestigious teams ever played their first game as a Yankee. The Yankees' first game was on this day in history, 1913. Also, on this day, April 10th in history, 1925, The Great Gatsby was published, one of the most famous books in the world. On this day in 1947, Jackie Robinson becomes the first black player of the 20th century to sign a MLB contract. Also on this day in history, 1957, the movie 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet, debuted. On this day in history, 1970, Paul McCartney officially announces the split of the Beatles in a press release promoting his new solo album. I've never been big on the Beatles. I know that Beatlemania was a thing, and at one point in time there was nobody bigger than the Beatles here in the world, but I'd never seen the hype. They have a few good songs, a couple of good songs, but I really don't think that they are timeless. You don't really meet many Beatle fans today. Sure, there are a lot of musicians I feel like have surpassed them as far as being timeless goes. I think they were good for their time, but man, I just don't see this new generation getting on board with their older music. And it just seemed like that they were way overhyped. Now, here's an interesting fact about the Beatles. They have more number one hits than any musician, any band that's ever existed. The Beatles still hold that record today. On this day in history, 1971, the Philadelphia Phillies opened their new home, Veterans Stadium, with a 4-1 win over the Montreal Expos. And they drew a crowd of 55,352 people. On this day in history, 1973, the Kansas City Royals opened their new park, the Royals Stadium, with 12-1 rout of the Texas Rangers. The attendance for that game was 39,476. And finally, on this day in history, April the 10th, 2023, the Dalai Lama apologizes for a video showing him asking a boy to suck his tongue after widespread criticism. The most disgusting video I have ever seen on the internet was from that video. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you have not seen it, I don't recommend you looking it up unless you just want to puke your guts out. The Dalai Lama asks a little boy to suck his tongue, and it was gross. It was very gross. It was very inappropriate, and I cannot believe he had the nerve to do that. Disgusting. Absolutely gross. But that, folks, is all of the things that have happened on this day in history. Elaine on the show thread says, hello from Ohio. Hope all is safe your way. Elaine, everything's great. It's great to see you. I'm glad to see you are still tuning in. It's been a minute since I've seen you. And if anybody has not joined the Off the Cuff with Adam Banks Facebook page, please do that. You get updates to all of our shows, and you can watch the show live. You can watch the video version of the show. Now, my favorite way for you to listen to this show is obviously on the radio, because you get to hear all of the sounds. All of the sounds really don't come across Facebook Live, but it's always fun to have you guys interact with me and to see you guys on the show thread. But folks, this seems like a great place to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. And how about a little Morgan Wallen? It's springtime, which means we need more music like this. We'll be back after the song with Love Somebody by Morgan Wallen. I feel you, Elaine. Work for me too. A lot of work. But it keeps me busy and it keeps me out of trouble. Oh. I tell my neighbors I just visit my home. Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I feel like I'm never home either, which being at the house drives me crazy. In the summertime, I have so much free time, and it just drives me nuts because I'm always home. You can only cut the grass so much. Morgan Wallen actually was he made a recent appearance on Saturday Night Live, and he made some headlines because after the show, he just walked off the stage without telling anybody goodbye. I guess those wasn't his group of people. He just didn't enjoy it, but he's been getting a lot of flack. I don't know if he'll be invited back. I don't know what happened to him to make him not want to stick around and for the end of the show say goodbye to everybody, but he got the heck out of Dodge when everybody signed off of SNL. You could see him walking off the stage to leave in a hurry. Folks, today's national holiday is a good one. It is National Siblings Day. If you have a sibling, give them a call today because today is National Siblings Day. I have 2 siblings. I have 3 siblings. I have an older sister, and she is 39. I have 2 younger brothers, one 27, and the other one is 19. So all over the place. I love my siblings. It would be hard to see a world without them. They really are your lifelong best friends, and they just are such a huge part of our lives. And today is the day to celebrate your siblings. Siblings, they've been around, from the beginning of time. When Adam and Eve first had a child, they had Cain, and then they had Abel, but that really didn't work out. Cain kind of killed his own brother. Not a very good example of sibling love there, but siblings have been around since the beginning of time. And siblings are just great people to have in your lives. They're your forever best friends, and they're always there to support you. And they go through the trenches with you. Growing up, there's nobody that really knows you like your sibling knows you. Nobody can really relate to you like a sibling can relate to you because they know what you were like before you were anybody. They've shared the same exact experiences that you shared growing up. And that's what makes siblings so great. In 1903, siblings made history. The Wright brothers made the first successful airplane. Talk about successful siblings right there. You talk about some happy parents knowing that their 2 children teamed up, worked together to create such an invention like the airplane. A lot of siblings, when they combine their powers, when they combine their relationship and they work towards a common goal, a lot of great things happen. There's a lot of famous celebrity siblings out there that are usually quite successful when they work together. In 1997, Claudia Avart created the nonprofit Siblings Day Foundation in honor of her late brother and sister. In 2016, President Obama recognizes National Siblings Day. So it's been something that we have been recognizing here in this country since 2016. Here are some interesting facts about siblings by the numbers. 19% of Americans say they are completely different from their siblings. 10% of Americans say that they are best friends with their siblings. 8% of Americans have physically fought with their siblings, drawing blood or leaving marks. Hey, are they really ever your sibling? Are they truly your sibling if you haven't fought your sibling to where there was at least a black eye or some blood drawn? 5% of Americans shared clothes or still share clothes with their siblings. 5% of Americans regularly hang out with their siblings and share the same group of friends. 33% is the percentage of free time siblings have spent together by the time they reach the age of 11 years old. That's huge. Think about that. The person that you spend the most of your time with, most of the time before you hit the age of 11, is your sibling. Your sibling is who teaches you how to be a friend. A sibling is someone who teaches you how to share. Most of the time when you meet a selfish person, they're a person with no siblings. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who was an only child is a selfish person. Don't take it like that. But most of the time, a selfish person is somebody who has never grown up with siblings. They never really learned how to share. They've always had all the attention from their parents. They never knew how to really to deviate the attention because they never had to. They were an only child. 10 is the number of hours children spend with their siblings per week. 17 is the number of hours children from large families spend with their siblings per week. Half is the portion of all siblings who go on to share the same level of educational and economic success. That's half. 14% is the percentage decrease in the risk of obesity with each additional sibling in a household. 65% is the percentage of mothers who claim to have a favorite child. And typically, the mother's favorite child is always the oldest one. Now, there may be a few mothers here on the show thread today, and hey, you don't want to put it out there who your favorite child is, but come on, you've got a favorite. It's probably the oldest. Now, here's what I'll say about favorites. I don't necessarily think that I think that yes, it's possible for parents to love their children the same. As far as love, as far as showing them affection, as far as caring about them, I think it's possible to love your children the same. However, I always think that you can like one child more than the other. And there's a difference between love and like. You can love your child, but that doesn't always mean you like your child. And sometimes I feel like it's almost as important to like your child, almost as important, maybe if not more important, than to love your child. If you don't like your child, if you don't like them, that means you don't like being around them. You don't enjoy their company. You don't really enjoy seeing them around. I'm not saying you don't love them, but really liking a child is something very, very important. And I do think that a lot of parents that have multiple kids, I believe that they can like one child more than the other. Not saying that you love them more than the other, but I definitely think that you can like a child, one of your children, more than the other. Let's see here, some more little fun facts about siblings here. It says 70% is the percentage of fathers who claim to have a favorite child. 3/4 is the number of times in an hour that siblings age between 3 and 7 years old get involved in fights. 390 is the number of families who participated in a research study that found younger siblings are more rebellious and aggressive than older siblings. It's probably because the younger child always grows up a little bit more spoiled. They get a little bit more leeway than the oldest child did. Usually when you have your first child, that's your test run as a parent. And you're really strict and you're hard. You're trying to figure things out with the first child. And when the second one comes along, and then the third and the fourth and the fifth, at that point, you've been to the fair, you've seen the bear, you know that a little bump on the head isn't going to hurt them. You let them get away with a little bit more. So that makes a lot of sense. It says here that 8 is the average age at which children start being bullied by their sibling. Here's some more fun facts about siblings that will actually surprise you. It says that firstborns tend to have an academic advantage over their youngest siblings. In my situation, that's the case. My sister went on to be a doctor. She went to medical school. I certainly did not do that. And my sister is very smart. I will hand it to her. Now, if we're looking at street smarts, she would disagree with me, but I would say I'm a little bit smarter than her. If she doesn't listen to this show, so she would never know I said that. But my sister is very, very smart. It amazes me how quick she picks things up when it comes to studies, when it comes to anything, calculus, when it comes to science, when it comes to English. My sister is just very, very smart. And it does typically seem that the firstborn is always the smartest. According to a recent Harvard study, younger siblings have a better sense of humor than their older siblings. Hey, in my case, I am the funniest sibling. I am the funniest one. Now, me and my sister are full brother and sisters. My 2 younger brothers are half younger brothers, so you might categorize that different. I'm the youngest in one situation, and then I'm the middle child in one situation. But I definitely think I'm funnier than my sister. Again, she would probably disagree, but neither here nor there. Studies have shown having a sibling of the opposite sex makes you more attractive to the opposite sex when dating. Score for me. A study of British families found that in families with multiple children, the younger children tend to be about an inch shorter on average. Birth order matters. If you're a middle child, you're more likely to marry a middle child. If you're the oldest, you're more likely to marry an oldest child. And that, folks, is a few fun facts for National Siblings Day. If you've not talked to your sibling in a while, give them a call. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. And just remember, they're the ones with you through the trenches. Usually when your parents pass, your sisters and your brothers are your only link to your past, and they're the only ones that can go back as far as anyone else can possibly go back with you. So enjoy your sibling today. If you've not done it in a while, make today the day you do it. All right, folks, we're going to take one more break because we have one more segment to go. Stick with us. We will be right back.
Lex has the support of Fuller's Family Home Care, voted Best Home Care Silver in the 2024 Best of Lexington competition hosted by the Lexington Herald Leader. You can learn more about Fuller's Family Home Care at fullersfamilyhomecare.com.
Radio Lex has the support of Lexmark International. Lexmark.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. The Florida Gators are the 2025 men NCAA college basketball champions. They have won their third national championship. Folks, Florida has to be in the top 10 greatest college basketball programs of all time, right? Now, before you say no, I just want you to ask yourself, who would you put in front of them? There's not a lot of college basketball programs that have won 3 national championships. As a matter of fact, the only ones to have ever done it is Florida and Villanova. They've won a total of 3. Now, here is a list here of what I would call the greatest college basketball programs, and this is the number of championships they have. Now, UCLA, they have 11 national championships. Kentucky has 8. North Carolina has 6. UConn has 6. Duke has 5, Indiana has 5, Kansas has 4, and now Florida and Villanova each have 3. So before you get on to me, and before you say, no, Florida's not in the top 10 greatest college basketballs of all time programs, who would you put in front of them? Who would it be? Would it be Michigan State? Well, Michigan State's won 1 title in 25 years. 1 title under 1 coach. Yes, they've been to a ton of Final Fours, but doesn't national championships trump everything? I think it does. Well, who else would you put in there? Well, you would have to include somebody that has at least 1, 2. There's not many that's 1, 2. Cincinnati, San Diego, North Carolina State. So before you jump all on me and say, no, Florida's not in the top 10, well, who would you put over Florida in the top 10? I think that Florida is on their way of being a dynasty. I don't think they're slowing down. I think that Todd Golden can really build a dynasty there if he wanted to. Now, when you win a national championship, obviously your name is going to go to the top of the list of some of the top jobs out there. But really, why would you leave Florida? You're in a great conference. You are at a school that doesn't have the pressure that a lot of basketball schools have. Now, I would call Florida a basketball school, but the country really doesn't agree with me on that. They would still consider it a football school. Yes, Florida is a football school, but I think that Billy Donovan really made Florida a college basketball and football school. So, but since the majority doesn't agree with me on that, including Florida students, there's not as much pressure at Florida than you would have at a place, say, North Carolina or Duke. So Florida is a great place. I would love to coach the Florida Gators. If I were to be given the choice of what school I would want to coach in all of college basketball, it would be the Florida Gators. In a great conference, not much pressure, still, in my eyes, a basketball school, and not to mention the warm weather. The ending of the game of Houston and Florida, it was a ugly and gritty ending. That's just the way Houston likes it, except Houston was on the bad end of that grittiness and that ugliness. It was Florida that was forcing bad shots and turnovers against the Houston Cougars to finish off the national championship game, and that happened last Monday night. That ending of the game is what everybody is talking about. Emmanuel Sharp was unable to get off a three-pointer. He went up to do a three-point shot. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he froze. I don't know if he took too much time to think about what he was going to do, but he ended up going up in the air and not shooting the shot. He came back down with the ball. Anybody that knows just a little bit about basketball knows if he was to move after that point, it would have been a traveling call. They started scrambling. They didn't really know what to do with the ball at that point. Walton Clayton Jr. was running towards him and leaping, trying to get the ball, and then when they got the ball, the time just simply ran out. They only had 5 seconds left, and unfortunately, Houston wasn't unable to get off a shot, and that's very unfortunate because Houston is very good at their three-point shots. Had they been able to get off a shot, it could have been a different ending. And it was just very stunning for Houston to play so well, to play so gritty, to play so hard. I mean, they are tougher than a $2 steak, and I really do think that Houston, had they had just a little bit more time, things could have went different for them. For Florida, it was beautiful ugly, I would say. The Gators, they overcame a 12-point deficit after halftime for their third national championship, and that's their first national championship since winning it back-to-back in 2006 and 2007. A lot of people thought when Billy Donovan left, it was game over for the Gators. A lot of people thought that Florida would never be the same again, but enter Todd Golden, the 39-year-old, the youngest college basketball coach to win a national championship, and that says a lot, especially how his season started. If you know anything about Todd Golden, he was being investigated on speculation of stalking and harassing younger girls. I think they were of age, but still, being a family man, being the head man, basketball coach at Florida, you really can't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that at any time, but not when you're in that position. So he was being investigated. Apparently, all the charges were dropped, and he went on to win a national championship with all of that hanging over his head. Very, very impressive, and congratulations to the Florida Gators. Kentucky ended up making it to the top 6 or Sweet 16. I don't think anybody really has an issue with the way the season ended up for UK. A Sweet 16, you really can't complain much about that for a first-time head coach. But no more basketball, at least college basketball, for the next 7 months. That puts a bow on the entire college basketball season. I did a complete March Madness series covering every game in that tournament. It is posted on Off the Cuff's podcasting platform. You can check that out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast if you want to hear a rundown of all of those games. But ladies and gentlemen, starting next week, I will be broadcasting Off the Cuff with Adam Banks from my home studio. We have to shut down the studio for a month as we transition to get our new equipment in here, and we are going from analog to digital, which is going to make us have a bigger and stronger signal that will reach more people, and it will make our signal a lot more clear. But don't fret, Off the Cuff is not going anywhere. We will be back same time, same place, 4 to 5, right here on Thursdays, just broadcasting from my home studio. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to follow the show on social media, you can do that on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9 FM. which means we will be back same time, same place. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. I am the King of Radio, and I will catch you down the road. All right, guys, thank you so much. See you next week.